Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News Today starts now.
An Oakland County community gathers to remember a father and daughter killed by a suspected drunk driver.
Plus, with coronavirus cases surging in Michigan and across the country, health experts are urging new safety measures.
And taking a look outside at the beautiful skyline here, we are gearing up for a wet day, but it's that wind we need to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, you can see those raindrops on that live cam right there. Good morning, it's 7 o'clock. I'm Priya Mann.
And I'm Kim DeGiulio. Thanks for joining us for Local 4 News today. Did you have a good Saturday, Priya?
I had a great Saturday. It was beautiful. I really did love all of that sunshine, but I should have been paying closer attention to Andrew's forecast because the thunder and lightning this morning surprised me.
That's right. Woke many of us up in the middle of the night. Fortunately, the heaviest rain and the most frequent lightning has now moved away. That being said, it's still wet out there. Soggy conditions. On top of that, those winds are now increasing. In fact, a high wind warning will go into effect later today. Now, this is an update since you joined me last night at 11 o'clock when we had the wind advisory. Wind gusts may get a little bit higher than what we talked about last night, 40 to 60 miles per hour. And this high wind warning kicks in at 11 o'clock. It does not expire until 7 o'clock this evening. And we're still looking at those higher winds already across the area right now, at least higher than last night. Temperatures today will go from 40s and 50s this morning and midday and actually fall because of colder air moving in. But those winds can cause some damage as well. Wind gusts later today, blowing all the time, sustained winds, easily 20 to 35 miles per hour. So we got to watch out for downed tree limbs, down power lines as well. Come across any down wires later today. Make sure you alert the authorities as soon as you can. We'll talk more about today's forecast, this week's forecast, coming up.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Time now is 7:02, and now to the coronavirus as cases continue to surge in Michigan. The state reports more than 7,000 new cases and 65 more deaths. That's including 36 identified in a review of records.
Now, there were more than 9,800 recoveries announced on Saturday, bringing the state recovery total to 138,862. Romeo Community Schools has announced it will end in-person learning on Wednesday and go fully remote until at least December. Also, East Point City Hall is closing until November 23rd because several employees have tested positive for the virus.
And new record highs in both COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations have governors across the country issuing strict new measures.
With health experts urging people to limit gatherings and take precautions to avoid an even bigger surge this holiday season. Meredith Wood has a closer look at those new measures going into effect.
Hospitals stretched thin and COVID-19 cases growing, forcing states to issue strict guidelines.
It's every single major urban area in the country, and it's every state. And the question is, what are we going to do about it?
On Friday, the U.S. shattering daily COVID-19 records with 184,000 cases. Hospitalizations also hitting a new high with nearly 69,000 COVID-19 patients nationwide. Hospitals are fearing overcapacity and rationing supplies.
When that happens, is that it compromises the care that patients receive. Not just patients that are coming in with coronavirus, but patients that are coming in for run-of-the-mill illnesses like heart attacks and strokes.
In New Mexico, a temporary statewide order closing in-person services for all non-essential activities is set to take effect on Monday, with people being asked to stay home except for essential trips. Oregon announced a statewide 2-week freeze starting on Wednesday, which includes limiting gatherings, closing gyms, and allowing only takeout and delivery for restaurants and bars. In Idaho, the National Guard has been mobilized to assist with pandemic-related tasks. And the New York governor is announcing an emergency meeting with the leaders of several Northeast states to discuss a potential brutal COVID-19 winter surge.
It's the first dominoes to fall. And I think that Americans need to be prepared that this is what's coming over the next few weeks.
Health officials urge Americans to limit gatherings and use masks during Thanksgiving celebrations. I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
And experts blame pandemic fatigue for the surge as people relax their safety precautions. Experts say people who plan to visit family during the holidays should quarantine ahead of time.
Police are investigating a triple shooting involving 2 teenagers on Detroit's east side. It happened on Klinger and Winchester near 8 Mile and Ryan. Police say a car pulled up to another car and shot a 28-year-old woman, 16-year-old boy, and 14-year-old girl. The victims drove themselves to the hospital. They're expected to be okay. The suspected shooter is still on the loose, though, so anyone with information is asked to call Detroit Police. And the Waterford community gathered last night to remember the lives of a father and daughter killed by a suspected drunk driver.
Yeah, 6-year-old Riley and her dad, Nick Melanchek, were on their way home from a car dealership when a car crashed into them at a stoplight last month. And as Larry Sproul reports, people who hadn't even met the two in person came out to show their support.
Most of the people who attended the vigil say they did not know the two, but this tragedy affected them all. Members of the Waterford community came out Saturday night to remember a father and daughter. They're all from different backgrounds. Some did not even know 6-year-old Riley and her father, Nick Melanchek. But Danielle Miller with the local group Waterford Matters says that did not matter.
When this accident happened, it shook everybody. And we just want the mom to know that we are here to support her in any way, shape, or form.
Little Riley and her dad, Nick, were on the way home from meeting Riley's mom and Nick's wife at this car dealership when a car crashed into them at a stoplight at M59 and Airport Road last month. Police say the driver was drunk.
You don't need to know someone personally to care for someone and have your life affect. I mean, it affected everybody's life.
Chrissy White, a friend of the family, says her daughter and Riley were friends.
My daughter Audrey and Riley were in preschool together. They were 3 years old.
White says on the way to school, Riley would hold her daughter's hand.
This little girl was so nice to my daughter who was scared. I have pictures of them holding hands because it's just something you want to remember as a mother.
And it's memories like those that brought a town of strangers united in this close-knit circle, remembering Riley and Nick. And now the people in Waterford say they want to raise awareness to drunk driving. Larry Sproul, Local 4.
Thank you, Larry. Time now is 7:07. President Trump continues to refuse to concede the election, and his supporters rallied in cities across the country. In Lansing, people gathered at the state capitol to echo the president's unfounded claims of voter fraud. While in Detroit, there was a smaller crowd calling for the president to concede. It comes after a judge dismissed a Republican challenge to the vote count in Wayne County. Saturday, the Democratic National Committee filed a motion to have the president's federal lawsuit here in Michigan dismissed. Supporters and opponents have differing views.
I'm hoping personally to bring focus to this election and to make sure that this kind of chaos doesn't ever happen again. We don't feel that the election was fair.
This is an attempt to, to hype up people behind the idea that they're being robbed, that they're, that they're the victims.
Devastating consequences.
President-elect Joe Biden is moving forward with transition plans through the Trump administration, though the Trump administration refuses to share information. Sources tell NBC News Biden advisors have been working on their own plan to distribute a coronavirus vaccine when it's available. And the search continues for a man accused of posing as a DTE employee and stealing from a 90-year-old Wyandotte woman. The man he smooth-talked the victim, he talked her into allowing him into her home, saying he needed to check her electricity and furnace. Before he left, he told the woman he had to go disrupt her power and had to go to his truck to get a generator, but he never came back. The victim soon discovered her purse and more than $5,000 had been stolen.
Well, today marks the opening of firearm deer hunting season in Michigan. The DNR says technical issues with the vendor prevented many hunters from buying a license and deer kill tags on Saturday. Hunters should keep checking online or with local stores for updates. Also, hunters are advised not to eat venison from deer taken within 5 miles of Clark's Marsh in Oscoda Township, as it could be contaminated with PFAS, which is a type of PFAS. Well, still much more to come on Local 4 News today. Kim, first we had the rain, thunder, lightning, and I think later on today our hair is going to be up in ponytails because of all that wind.
Messy hair, don't care kind of day, right, Andrew?
Yeah, bad hair day for today. I'm going to be doing the same thing. I already have, in fact. Out there right now, we're still looking at quite a bit of rain on the radar. High wind warning goes into effect later today, so more on that, plus your 7-day forecast in minutes.